So we're going to talk about the FR analog series, which you see in front of me here. And it's really just 4 styles that we consider to be very core essentials in really old school, traditional sweatshirt, sweatpant material that is made here in Toronto. And in going back to the core of why FR started, it was really built around post-ride comfort. And we started off with some sweats back in 2014, and we played around with different blends, and we did really well with that product, and all that product sold to Japan. But fast forward 12 years later, that I feel like there's a real return to natural materials, and it's really what I wear and what my crew here wear pretty much all the time. And that doing this level of product that you see in front of you here is incredibly difficult to do it. And it's hard to do it for a number of reasons. And one of the biggest problems in manufacturing, particularly when you're getting into a product like this, is that it has to start with the material. And that the material, this 400 GSM comb cotton, is really gonna set up how the product needs to fit. And we spent a long time on getting this fit right here because we think that fit is absolutely crucial to why this company exists. So what you see in front of you, crew neck, pullover hoodie, and then we're doing a sweatpant in 2 different styles. One has an elastic bottom, which is much more traditional and old school. And then we also have an open leg bottom as well. And those 4 styles are really the foundation of why we created this analog series. And that it's incredibly important to what we're doing and why we're doing this as a company, because analog and a return to those fundamentals of just making really quality product that is designed to last, and that we've built products that we're dedicated to things that last. And that there's some really important features in here that I feel like a lot of companies will bypass. So when we start the process, we decide what fit we want to have, and we'll draw up specs that can determine that fit. And then we sit down with a team of engineers and we come up with the material that we want to work with. And in this case, this is a 400 GSM comb cotton. So on the outside, it's incredibly soft. And on the inside, we used a brushed inside facing, so against your skin, it's incredibly comfortable. And I really believe that we have a problem in our industry of not just disposable fashion, but there's an inconsistency in fit, but more importantly, shrinkage is something that we find frustrates a lot of people. And that I can tell you from experience that I've gone and bought sweatshirts from brands that I really respect, and then I'll take them home and I'll throw it in the wash, or not even throw it into the dryer, and it ends up shrinking. But what happens when you throw a sweatshirt into a dryer? It shrinks. So what do we do to avoid that? We pre-wash the fabric, which takes all the shrinkage out of it. So in any cotton material, you're still always gonna have, in better made goods, maybe 1% shrinkage. And in this case, if you don't want that, just don't put it in a dryer. If you do put it in the dryer, when you wear it, it's going to stretch back out to what its natural fit is meant to be. The other thing that I think is incredibly important in here is when you're doing the construction of the garment, that we use Flatlock stitching. And Flatlock stitching has been around for a long time, but it's incredibly hard to do. So the factories that we work with that specialize in Flatlock stitching, all of these pieces have Flatlock stitching, so you have durability, and then it's also gonna feel good against your skin. The ribbing that you see in the waistband and that's also in the cuffs and in the collar of this crew neck, we use a very heavyweight rib, and that rib keeps the cuffs in place, it keeps the waistband structured, and it doesn't allow for the collar to be stretching out, but it also allows it for you to pull it over your head and it's not going to lose its shape. So the rib that we use in here is extremely high quality, but the knitting is done here in Canada. The dye process is also done here in Canada, and all the sewing is done here in Canada as well. And it's done 20 minutes from our office. So that allows our team complete access to the factory floor, and we can see every single piece that's actually coming out of the factory. We know the factory owners, we talk to the sewers, we have a great relationship with the company that does our knitting for us, so we know what we're gonna deliver. And a consistent product that's gonna last for a long time is an analog thing, it's an old school thing to do. So as you're looking at these pieces here, what look like commodities pieces to some other brands that are just using serge stitching and inexpensive materials, we've gone the complete opposite here. We've gone back to the core fundamentals of why I got into clothing in the first place, and that's reflected in the analog series that you see sitting in front of you here.